Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Tyler from Podcast Now, and today I have a Kingdom Hearts theory for you. I believe that the Guardian is actually Terra's darkness or Terra's heartless. And the reason I think that is when you look at the Guardian, you'll see that he has X markings on his front of the body, the Guardian. On the front of the body of the Guardian, you'll see it's a strange looking X, but you could see the X. You'll see a X on his mouth, and you see a very prominent X on his back. And you might think, okay, well, who cares? Well, it matters because there's only 4 characters that have, 4 characters that have the X marking on them, and Terra, Ven, Aqua, and Sora, but only in Dream Drop Distance. Sora has an X on his shirt, an X sigil, which is discussed in Dream Drop Distance by young Xehanort. But anyway, so only Terra and Sora have had their hearts unlocked, and we saw that Sora's heartless. After that happened in Kingdom Hearts 1, we saw Sora's heartless was only a regular shadow heartless. But we also know from Dream Drop Distance that Sora, he's special because of everybody else. It's because of everybody else that makes Sora special. Otherwise, he's not that special, so it makes sense that his heartless would only be a shadow heartless. But we have never seen Aqua turn into a heartless. We know she's in the realm of darkness. And we've never seen Ven turn into a heartless because we know that he's asleep. And his dark half is Vanitas. Not that that's a heartless, but that's his dark half. So all I'm saying is the only characters that have the X marking on their clothing, there's only 2 that have ever had their hearts unlocked. We already know what Sora looks like. We don't know what Terra looks like. Now, I think that the symbology, so obviously I believe that the Guardian is Terra, but I'm going to go into why more. But the symbology of the X on his mouth, you can say is that his mouth is almost bound, or in other words, the Guardian has no free will. He's just like a tool. Which he is. The Guardian's just basically a tool for the user, which is usually Xehanort's Heartless, also known as Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, or Terranort, or Terra/Xehanort Control in Birth by Sleep. But the Guardian's just a tool with no free will, just like how Terra was the tool for old Master Xehanort to have a new, younger, stronger body in Birth by Sleep. So that's one reason why. The next reason. So when Xehanort in Birth by Sleep places his heart in Terra's body, for the reason I just said, he wants a new, younger, stronger body, and he chose Terra because of the darkness within Terra's heart. When Xehanort places his heart inside of Terra, Terra loses the battle to control his body at first. And so then Terranort faces Aqua. And then after that, there's like a little squabble between Terra and Xehanort internally. But this means that when Xehanort places his heart within Terra, it means that Terra, the body of Terra, but Terra has 2 hearts inside of him, and the primary one that controls him is now Xehanort's, which overtakes Terra's body, and the secondary is Terra. Therefore, once unlocking his heart, when Terranort unlocks his heart after being defeated by Aqua, because there's a little bit and as you see in the scene, Terra stops Xehanort from basically destroying Aqua. So he freezes. So Xehanort decides that he has to get 100% get rid of Terra. So he takes his Keyblade, plunges it into his heart, and unlocks his heart. Now, when we've seen Xehanort, Master Xehanort, do this, we saw that his body kind of disappears and he turns into, that orb, and then he enters Terra. This is not what happens when Terranort unlocks his heart. What happens is the body of Terranort falls unconscious, but the Guardian is created. So it's a different process basically that happens. So what I think is Xehanort succeeded in getting rid of Terra inside of the body, but Terra's darkness within Terra's heart, the darkness within Terra's heart remained, thus creating the Guardian. Either that, or it created a Heartless of Terra. And again, the reason that it wouldn't be a full-bodied person like Ansem, Seeker of Darkness is because Xehanort is the primary heart. Terra is the secondary heart. He's not the controlling heart. You know what I'm saying? So, again, when Master Xehanort in Terra's body unlocks his heart, the body does not disappear. It goes unconscious, and the Guardian is formed. So that's another reason. Now, when this happens, that's what causes Terranort, we all call him Terranort, but it's Xehanort inside Terra's body, to lose his memory. And then eventually then we know from Kingdom Hearts 2 and other stuff, then we know that he starts working with Ansem, learning about the heart and all that, heartless. So then he goes under an experiment to create a heartless of himself, which is what then causes what we know as Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, which is Xehanort's heartless, to be formed. And Ansem, Seeker of Darkness also has the Guardian, which I believe is the darkness inside Terra's heart. But the significance of this, the one main reason I think that it's Terra's the darkness in Terra's heart, the Guardian, and not a heartless. Well, he still can be a heartless, but let me explain. So there's different kind of heartless. The Guardian is a pure blood heartless, and that is a pure blood heartless. Heartless is created by the darkness inside somebody's heart. Now we know from Birth by Sleep that Terra had darkness inside of his heart, but the situation is different because he had two hearts inside of him. So when we look at Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, you'll see the heartless symbol on Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, the body, Xehanort's heartless, which somewhat resembles, now they changed the visuals, which somewhat resembles Terra's body. But again, that's not Terra, that's Xehanort. It's just in Terra's body. But Terra, because of the heart, they're always going to be connected, except for the nobody. And the reason for this is because the heart is different than the body for Kingdom Hearts. The reason that it makes sense that Terra's, the darkness in Terra's heart would only be connected to Xehanort's heartless and not the nobody is because a nobody is formed as basically the remaining shell that is left behind. It has nothing to do with the heart. So the shell is Terra's body, basically. And that's why Xehanort looks a lot like, or not Xehanort, sorry. That's why Xemnas looks a lot like Terra. A little bit different, but reminiscent of Terra. But that's why he doesn't have the Guardian, because it's only Terra's body that's the shell that creates the nobody Xemnas. But for the Heartless side, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness / Xehanort's Heartless, Terra had two hearts in his body, therefore there needs to be two Heartless that are created. That's why I believe I'm back and forth. I think I'm right either way. It's either the darkness. I think the Guardian's either the darkness in Terra's heart or Terra's heartless. And I know I said that a bunch of times, but that's how Kingdom Hearts names are, and they're very weird and always long. And I also have a joke where I always say Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. I always say the long version, but anyways. Now, so that's some evidence, but I have even more proof. This is a lesser proof one than the next one, but in Birth by Sleep, Terra has a move named, or it's like a command style, Dark Impulse, and when you're in Dark Impulse, there's a command, like fighting style, that says Barrage, and at the end of Barrage, and actually at the end of Dark Impulse, for the move Dark Impulse, there is a big heartless looking hand of black, but it also has blue and red coursing through it. That is the finishing move, and it looks a lot like what you see, the blue markings on the Guardian's head. And in Kingdom Hearts 1, when you face Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and he's like very large, and the Guardian looks a little bit different and takes on a different shape. It's blue, and there's also a reddish, pinkish tint to it also. So I think it might be just a coincidence, but I thought it was just interesting. But so here's the main proof that I have. In Birth by Sleep, when Terra is at Destiny Islands, he speaks with Riku, and Riku tells Terra he wants to go to the outside worlds to get strength, quote, to protect the things that matter, unquote. Terra then reaches out his right hand, summons his Keyblade, and passes the Keyblade on to Riku via the passing of power ceremony. In Dream Drop Distance, Riku is faced with Xehanort's Heartless. Riku states that when he looks at Xehanort's Heartless, he gets flashes of memory of a man who came to him and made Riku want to see the outside world. The Guardian then appears, they fight. Riku fights Xehanort's Heartless with the Guardian. And upon defeat, before Xehanort's Heartless fully disappears, the Guardian, well, he's unconscious, but the Guardian is looking at Riku, and it reaches out his right hand exactly the same way that he did, and that Terra did to Riku when Riku was a kid in Birth by Sleep. The Guardian reaches out his right hand, almost looking like he's going to summon the Keyblade, and Riku holds up his Keyblade, and the Guardian lowers his hands, and to me, or his right hand, almost to me, it's almost it's a few things in my head. It's almost you're ready, or it's like it's just out of memory, like the Guardian, because it's Terra. I think there's fragments deep within the Guardian of Terra, obviously, and it's remembering from so long ago, who this kid is and what he did. So he's like reaching out to Riku just like he did before. Or, where is it? Or it's almost like a special exchange that Terra and Riku share as a passing. That's the only time that we see, that we know, that Terra's passed on his key, that he found somebody that he felt he should pass the Keyblade on to, and it was Riku. So I feel like that was almost I remember that type of thing. And when Riku holds up the Keyblade, it's almost like not a master to student, it's almost like a passing of the torch. That's how I see it. But then then the Guardian disappears, and Riku states strength to protect what matters. It's exactly what Riku told Terra before Terra does the passing of power ceremony to protect the things that matter. It's exact. So Riku must have sensed that it was Terra. And so then here's another key thing, in my opinion, that almost solidifies it. Because Kingdom Hearts is very... things come full circle a lot of times, like in symbolism. And Kingdom Hearts is just is deep and vast as the story is. Really, it's super connected and close, which is the whole point of the series. Which is why I love it so much, because really, when you think about it, everything, all of it somehow connects to Sora. He's the light. Like, he is what, even though he, like I said earlier, he's not basically chosen, it's something about that boy that connects everybody. Which is, to me, like, very... it's just really cool, and I don't know, it's beyond cool. It's something almost that we all want to be like, in a way. But anyways, the passing of power ceremony, and we hear Terra say it to Riku, in Birth by Sleep, the passing of power ceremony states, through this simple act of taking, the wielder you shall one day be, and you will find me, friend. No ocean will contain you then. End quote. Now, to me, the importance of this is when Riku faces Xehanort Tartarus during his dream, that's the moment that Riku finds his resolve and understanding of his power and his purpose of being a Keyblade wielder. Because right before facing Xehanort Tartarus, he was kind of saying, like, I want to know, do I deserve to wield the Keyblade? And then after the defeat, after he defeats Xehanort Tartarus, and right before it, he says, I know the way. Consume the darkness and return it to light. So because of this battle, after the end of the battle, he understands he understands his purpose. He gets it. He knows why he's doing what he's doing. He's doing it for his friends. He's going to save Sora and Sora, not Sarah. He's going to save Sora, and he knows that's what he's doing it for, like his friends, and that's why, that he wanted to be strong to protect his friends, to protect the things that matter. So that battle reminded him of why he is what he is, and why he's a Keyblade wielder. So in other words, no ocean can contain him, because now he knows. There's nothing. There's no more waver. He knows no ocean can contain him, and it happened because he found Xehanort Tartarus and the Guardian, Terra's either Heartless or the darkness in Terra's heart, but Terra nonetheless, Riku's friend. Though Riku wielded the Keyblade, it wasn't until that moment that he understood why, which means that the ceremony, even though it took many years to fulfill, it ended the way that it began, where Terra reaches out his right hand, summons the Keyblade, and ends with the Guardian, Terra, some form of Terra, reaching out his right hand, and Riku holding up the Keyblade. It's the exact same visual. And again, it says, through this simple act of taking, the wielder you shall one day be, and you will find me, friend. Riku found Terra. No ocean will contain you then. So he found his friend Terra, and because of it, he discovered his purpose, or he understands his purpose, he found his resolve, and no ocean will contain him. So to me, it actually doesn't become more clear that the Guardian is a form of Terra. I don't think it's actually Terra, because that wouldn't make sense if it's actually Terra. But it's either Heartless of Terra, of Terra's heart, I should say, or the darkness in Terra's heart. But I have a question that I'll say now, and we'll discuss it in a later video. But if Terra has, this is assuming that it's Terra's heartless, which it's 50-50, honestly, for me. I'm not really sure. I almost want to say it's not, but I don't know. It's 50-50. But if it's Terra's heartless, that means, so Terra has 2 hearts, which means he would have 2 heartless. He would have the Ansem Seeker of Darkness, or Xehanort's heartless, but also the Guardian, right? But we know that Xemnas was created, right? Because well, we know why Xemnas was created. Because when a heartless is created, a nobody's created. The heart makes, the darkness in a heart creates the heartless, and then what's left over for only certain people, but what's left over creates a nobody. And now I know what I said earlier, but got to remember this is Kingdom Hearts, so things change. We didn't know time travel was involved, and here we are with time travel, so it doesn't matter. So my question is, does this also mean that the Guardian has a nobody of some sort? Because, and again, I know that it's the shell, so then it's like, well, there's only one Terra's body. But again, time travel, therefore, there's any possibility, if they want to introduce the Guardian's nobody, or basically Terra's nobody, not Xehanort's nobody, but Terra's nobody, they can. But I'm curious if we're going to see a nobody for either Terra or the Guardian. And if we do, I guarantee that will be one of the new members of the new Organization 13. Well, here's what we do know for Kingdom Hearts 3, and then we'll wrap up the video. What we do know is that Riku and Mickey, their journey in Kingdom Hearts 3 is to find Ven and Terra. And I assume that at the end of 2.8, which we will find out, or have now maybe found out, that Sora has found Aqua. That's what I assume. But we know that Riku and Mickey's journey is to find Ven and Terra. And I'm wondering, does this mean that in order to find Terra, because Terra's body, we know he currently has, well, no, we don't. Does Terra have a body is the question, because Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, the Heartless of Xehanort, has been defeated in Kingdom Hearts 1. Xemnas, Xehanort's nobody, has been defeated. And we know from Dream Drop Distance that once the Heartless and once the nobody is defeated, that means that the person is restored. So does that mean that Terra/Terranort is back? He exists again. Not Terra, Terranort. So the one that we saw at the end of Birth by Sleep. Or does it mean that it's reset, the hearts go back to where they belong, and does this mean that Terra is a separate person again, and Old Man Master Xehanort is a separate person again? Because again, Old Man Master Xehanort was in Dream Drop Distance, so how could that be? It's very confusing, and we'll talk about it, but I'm just saying, does this mean that Terra is back somewhere? Or is it Terranort? I don't know. But the question is, if the Guardian is the Heartless of because we know that he's not appeared, Terranort or Terra has not appeared. As of now, he's not appeared in Dream Drop Distance, right? Which we have to say is the present until Fragmentary 0.0 or 0.2 comes out. Then that's the present. But as of now, Dream Drop Distance is the present, and we know from Yensid and Mickey and all them that Terranort has not been, wrecking havoc anywhere. We didn't see Terranort in the dreams. All we saw was young Xehanort, Master Xehanort, Ansem Seeker of Darkness, and Xemnas. We did not see Terranort at all. So does this mean that because there's two hearts in Terra, that the Guardian does have a nobody? The Guardian, the Heartless version, we're going to pretend he's the Heartless. The Guardian version we know has been defeated in Kingdom Hearts 1. But if Terranor has not returned to his full body, does that mean that the reason is because the Guardian does in fact have a nobody? Riku and Mickey will have to find it and defeat it in order to restore Terra to his body. And basically be alive again. So in that case, does that mean that in Kingdom Hearts 3, for the new Organization 13, are we going to see Old Man Xehanort, or Master Xehanort, Xehanort's Heartless, Xemnas, Terranort, Young Xehanort, Adult Xehanort, Bragg, and maybe even Vanitas, and also maybe Terra's Nobody? Now that would be 9 of the new Organization 13 members. I don't know. That's just my thoughts right now. But that's what I'm thinking. So hopefully I laid out some evidence, enough evidence, basically all that we have right now to look at this theory. But if you agree with my theory that the Guardian is either the darkness in Terra's heart or Terra's Heartless, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you leave a dislike, please let me know why. Don't just hit dislike if you don't agree with the theory. If you don't agree with the theory, well, that's fine. Tell me what I want to know. What you think, the Guardian is, or you could just tell me what you think happened to Terra. Anything. What you think is what's going on with Terra now. Whatever. I just want to know your thoughts, because there's a bunch of theories out there, but I've thought of this one for a while, and I wanted to put a video out there. Subscribe to the podcast now for future Kingdom Hearts videos and other content, and thanks for watching.